dryer fires. How do they happen? How can they prevent it? So I'm in the utility room of an older house in the city. In the older houses, many times the washer dryer, they're in the basement, tucked away somewhere, and you never really see them except maybe once or twice a week. So just a quick look. That's the exhaust of the dryer. This is electric dryer. That's where it leaves the house. And this particular one has one of those heat capture gizmos on it. And in just a second, I think you can see inside it has a baffle on it that directs the warm, moist heat either into the house or out of the house, depending on the season. But that's what we're going to be looking at, what's inside these pipes. So this is one exhaust pipe. This is not bad. Aluminum 4-inch. Sometimes these pipes, or vents, ducts, are used. That's the cheapest kind. This one actually comes from like a little kitchenette. So the temperatures are not too high, but you can see there's one 90-degree bend there. There's another down there, and another there. And that cuts down on the velocity of the exhausted air, which means your electric bill mounts up, and it just does not function efficiently. So while we're here, most dryers have lint traps. That's what this is. And since we're talking about dryer fires and efficiency, that's the one most people should be looking at first. Make sure that's clean. Your airflow is faster, your electric bill is lower. But here's the vent itself. Now the electric dryer works because there are heated filaments that actually glow, at least on the older models of dryers. And the air passes over those filaments, heats up, and the clothes tumble through that heated air. And then it's exhausted out the back. The connection is either a pinch clamp, which this is, and you would just pinch it and it comes right off. And you will see immediately if you have a problem. This one is almost a problem. And if you wanted to clean these out, you just reach up there, of course with the machine off, and then reinstall this. Reach up as far as you can on the venting pipe, and then reattach it either with a pinch clamp or a hose clamp. But either way, you want that back on, or else it'll just kick right out. So now we'll look at a couple examples of some potential problems with these vent pipes. And here you have two of the most common pipes, vent pipes, and one that is used mainly for higher temperatures, and that's this one, say coming off a hot water heater or something. And you can see that also gets clogged up. This I took out of a house that was fairly recent, so it would be clogged up worse if that had been in there for, say, 10 years or so. But here's the problem. This was a pipe that came out of a kitchen, as you just saw, and they use it in this case for their dryer. Now you go to one of the hardware stores, and usually people pick up the cheapest pipe they can, and that's this. Any pipe you use will have to be cleaned occasionally. But the problem is, if you have a small company, commercial company that comes in and does this for you, normally they will use a flail, F-L-A-I-L. It's like a beater bar with a couple little flails on it, and it spins around and it dislodges the stuff it gathers in there, lint, basically. And sometimes if they're not cleaned for a while, over half the capacity of that pipe has been lost. But the commercial cleaners can only get so much, can only go so far if they're using a flail, and the flails will just tear this by the action of the flail. One that's a little harder and would probably withstand one of the more moderate flails is this, but once again, the trick is to clean them. And when you don't, the capacity of the pipe goes way down. Your bill goes way up. Takes the clothes longer to dry. But this is where the problem is. Because when this pipe close to the dryer is removing the hotter air from the machine, that's where a spark can set this on fire. At the beginning of the dry cycle, it's warm, humid air. As you get into the end of the cycle, you still have the warmth, but you do not have the humidity, because the airflow has dried out that lint, just like it dries out your clothes. And that's where the fires come from. So this is fairly easy. If you have a dryer like you just saw, most times you can clean it. But if you have a dryer vent that disappears into the wall, that's something you want to keep an eye on. So it's a judgment call. But this is what people want to know about, the dryer vent fires. How do they happen? In the older houses, the washer dryer is usually in the basement, which is masonry, as you saw. In the newer houses, sometimes they're on the second floor, and the route outside the house goes through wood framing. So that's it.